Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shiki. Today, I wanted to have a conversation real quick because I have gotten myself into quite the sticky situation, actually. There's some drama, and I'm the one that kind of initiated it this time. And I wanted to just quickly explain, excuse me, my side of things. I want to explain why I made this post on Twitter and also why I tagged the people that I tagged, just real quick and briefly. So first of all, why did this happen? It happened after I watched Jose's video where he basically described that his YouTube channel has been demonetized and he's been kicked out of the YouTube partnership program, where basically no matter what he does, no matter what kind of videos he does, if it's dance, if it's documentaries, if it's information videos, news, you name it, he won't be able to benefit or profit off of it financially, which is honestly a sad thing. And I don't hope or wish that upon anyone. So, in that case, I just wanted to quickly say I hope you get reinstated into the program and I hope it works out. If you want to help him get his channel back into the program, you can click the link in the description for his video where he puts an email and you can send that to try and help him. Now, one thing I didn't like about his video when I watched it was it came across to me as kind of insincere, talking about losing your main source of income and that you may need to find a job and not be able to do YouTube anymore. I wanted to say, since he also mentioned it was like a full-time job, he does have an income on Patreon, which is nothing to scoff at. So I wanted to quickly bring up some people, right? I think Jose, what you got to say? Jared and Jordan, Mexicanese family, Colombian cousins. I'm not too sure on Maurician, XLS, John Reeves, and Sammy Cam, but the other ones, they make a lot of money off of Patreon, like a lot. We're talking ranging anywhere from 3, 4 to maybe 20 plus $20,000 a month. Okay, and this is not a bad thing. This is obviously a very good thing for them, and it allows them to be financially stable. But when Jose made that video, it just came across as very insincere to me. When he's only posted around 16 videos on his YouTube channel, most of them being music videos since October. And this is no knock, it's his channel, he does what he wants. But now that his YouTube did get demonetized, he did come back to his audience on YouTube asking them for support. So the only thing that I wanted to mention is, and this is pretty much applied to all of these channels in general, I don't have any mean intentions. I don't have any toxic hate towards you. I don't dislike you. I think you're all good people. And this specific decision that you've made with Patreon, not saying the Patreon decision, but within Patreon, does not define who you are. And I am not advocating for hate or anything else. I just wanted to call out some things that I personally thought I wanted to call out. It's as simple as that. You don't need to agree with me. Guys, at the end of the day, some of you support people on Patreon because you like them and you want to support them. Some of you support people on Patreon because you want to see the reaction videos, and if there was an option, you would watch it for free. Some of you don't have the capability to do Patreon, and instead you can't watch them. And there are some of you people that even if they didn't have any paid content on Patreon, you would still support them. So not everything I say here applies to all of you. You know what applies to you in general. The thing I wanted to bring up is all of these channels have one thing in common, okay? They've uploaded Run BTS and other types of free stuff on their Patreon for monetary gain. Now the thing is, there's nothing wrong, I think, with with if you want to monetize your reactions, but I feel like it's a little bit insincere to do so with, for example, Run, or the content that um, that Army loves the most. I feel like it's insincere. As someone that's followed BTS for 2.5, almost 3 years, I have never gotten the impression that we should squeeze our audience as much as we can. Okay, that's not something that I have gotten to experience. Another thing I have wanted to say is Army is an extremely given and loving community. They would step up for me, all of these names in a heartbeat. If these people asked for support and needed help, I have no doubt a huge amount of people would put their foot forward and help them and show support without questions asked, no strings attached. Okay? I remember certain people offering me to go half and half on concert. I remember certain people, being like, I have extra tickets for you. Like, I don't forget the love that's been shown my way from my humble beginnings, very, very humble beginnings, and still humble today. So why am I doing this? It's because I just feel like it's insincere to put Run BTS as an example, or other free content such as Rise of Bangtan. Why is Rise of Bangtan there? Why is Weverse Lives there? Now, obviously, not all of these channels are on the same level. Some of them take it to the extreme. For example, Jared and Jordan, they have a $20 tier on their Patreon, making well above $10,000 a month on Patreon, where they put IU's palette in the $20 tier, for example. Or they have put BT21's Would You music video and dance practice there. I know that they have informative content. I know that they do very cool and unique breakdowns. I know that these people all have some sort of magic that they bring that attract people, and they take it. They just like hold your heart. I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like it's sad when the faces of the big armies here is acting the way they're acting. If you take a look at Twitter, for example, the biggest army accounts are all doing helpful things. I'm not saying everyone, but most of them, they're doing like translations, or they're being helpful, they're sharing fun things. Not to say that Twitter is a happy place full of flowers, because, oh Lord, the things that happen over there. But I'm trying to say is, when it comes to YouTube, Jose, intro, outro, mid rolls, description, even in his Patreon, he's promoting Patreon. Okay, it's not a bad thing per se to promote Patreon, but you're doing this against your audience that were there from the very beginning without you having a Patreon. John Reeves, cool guy, metal fan. He loves his rock and roll. Does his thing, yada yada. No problem. Run BTS is there. It doesn't really need to be there, in my opinion. What you got to say? Huge account, really cool people. Trio got a lot going for them. They're like, if there's one channel I have consistently seen get love, it's What You Got to Say and Mexicanese Family. So What You Got to Say, you have a huge audience, you have a huge following, a lot of people that love you genuinely. I love you guys. Nico, Adam, and they appreciate what you do. You change people's days, you change people's moods. That's why I feel like you don't really need to put Run BTS on Patreon. Despite you having a second channel where you're doing Run already, it's like 25 episodes behind your Patreon. I just feel like, with the amount of money you're making, because you don't only do Patreon, you also got Ko-fi, you got YouTube memberships, and you're doing Twitch, and I forgot what else you're doing, which is cool. You're maximizing revenue, you're getting yourself financially stable. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I think the people that got you there in the first place, giving you such a huge social platform, and this is speaking about all of us and showing us so much love. Obviously, there's a give and take relationship there. You're doing something for them, they're doing something for you. I think it's unnecessary to have like Rise of Bangtan there or Run BTS there. It's really not necessary. Just a personal observation of mine. Mr. Sammy Cam, he's quick as lightning, and also Run BTS. That's the thing that's there for everyone. Murray-san vlogs, loved by many, very humble people, very loved people. There's no reason for Run BTS to be on their Patreon. That's just how I feel. There's literally no reason to monetize Run. Because when you look at their list for the majority of these people, it says In the Soup, Burn the Stage, Bon Voyage, concerts, all paid stuff, and then you see Run BTS, which is the outlier. DT Parker, same thing. Crazy third tier on their Patreon. If you pay $20 to DT Parker, he will respond to you on Instagram. But generally speaking, he also has the same thing. Wee Wee Lives, Run Reactions, Mexicanese Family, unfortunately, they also have, like Run, or what's it called? They have Run, they have like Weaver's Lives, Bangtan Bombs. X Celeste, huge name in the army community. Honestly, she's done so much good. She's released so much good content, done so much positive things. She's also, doing Patreon, and I think doing Patreon isn't actually bad at all. Like, doing Patreon is not a bad thing. Okay, I think it just becomes bad when it's the main. When it's the main focus. Like, it makes people question the authenticity. Not saying you guys aren't ARMY or you don't love BTS or you don't do that, but I think some actions make you like raise your eyebrows. For example, What You Got to Say made a post, a community post, responding to why people are judging them because they have a Patreon and what's it called? Sponsors. I don't know why you would have criticisms for that. Patreon, I understand, because you do have a huge following, you do have 2 channels, you do have a lot of different platforms, and you're making good income. I feel like it's seen like a little bit greedy towards your community, your army, when you put free stuff up there. Just an observation from me, no hate. Same thing applies to many others. Jose, like I said, huge, almost 700,000 subscribers, guys. Huge following. Unfortunately, it's a reaction to V's 30-second commercial, locked behind a paywall. Like, what I'm trying to say is, you can find a sweet spot for Patreon. You can have your Patreon, and you can also do your YouTube in a way where you don't put your viewers in a position where if they want to continue watching you and watch the good, the meaty stuff, they gotta pay for it. And I know some people are gonna be like, but I want to pay for it, which is completely fine. If you want to support someone, regardless if the content is paid or free, this doesn't really apply to you. This is not about that. This is about the fact that the practice of gaining an audience, gaining a huge audience, and then using that to make money off of, it's like feeding pigs, making them fat, because when it's time to eat, you want to get that good amount of pork in. Okay? That's just how it feels. I'm not calling you guys pigs, of course. Absolutely not. What I'm trying to say is, it's almost the same kind of mentality happening here, where if you notice the process, react to new BTS song or music video or album, gain a lot of views, put the free, the fun, the variety stuff on Patreon. Okay? And it's a common theme. And like I said, it's not wrong to do Patreon. For example, Colombian Cousins, they probably make the most out of everyone here. They probably make the most, an absurd amount of money on Patreon. And they also have like Run and free stuff there. Jared and Jordan, they have compilations, interviews, stuff that's made by other army put together. They react there for money. So, it makes you question certain things like, what's the motivation here? And what you got to say didn't make that community post. Like I said, they talked about that the Patreon stuff is because you kind of need like a financial motivation to be able to do what they're doing, and they need that support. But I'm saying like it's just a very 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 weird line to be in as a content creator. These people, Army, helped us a lot. Okay, let's be honest. The amount of things that you guys have done for them and for me and for every other content creator is hard to describe. And I know we've also had an impact on you, absolutely. But you've given, this is just a few examples. You've given people a huge amount of money just by being there, by your support. You've given people engagement on their social medias. All of a sudden, everyone has like big social media accounts, Instagram. Like, why am I getting hundreds of likes on my Instagram posts? Why am I getting 2,000 followers on Twitter? Who am I? Like, what I'm trying to say is you guys are some of the sweetest people I've ever met, to be honest, completely honest. You've supported me through thick and thin, and my lows and my highs. You've been there when I've been trying new things. I tried gaming. You guys were very supportive. I tried, I've made a couple of songs. You guys have always showed me so much love, given me encouragement, and you've done the same to these guys. I have no doubt. Okay, I have no doubt that you have. But certain people I put to certain standards. Like the face of Army on YouTube, I put on a different standard. There's no reason why Suchta should be on Patreon, guys. The people who made Suchta, BTS, spending hours and hours and money, a lot of money to set that up, they gave it out for free for Army. What I'm trying to say is looking at BTS and being an Army isn't just watching BTS, okay? But the principles and the things that they've instilled, Army has been forged in fire alongside BTS. They share the same spirit. And it's the spirit of giving and being nice to each other. Now, I'm not saying everyone is nice. Okay? I'm not saying everyone is perfect. No one is perfect. But the community in general is one of the most wonderful communities and most helpful community I've been lucky to witness. In such a case, I feel like it's sad that, as content creators, what your audience likes and wants. And despite that, it's about squeezing as much as we can. It's not worth it. These are people that leave comments supporting us on each video that we upload. Despite it just being a small icon with a text, there's a human being on the other side of that. Someone that's really enjoying what you're doing. It's like a give and take thing, right? That's why I feel like no one here is doing anyone a favor. If you're like, guys, you like my content, I'll do 3 more videos, but I'm going to put them behind Patreon. So you have to pay for it. Especially now in 2024, when BTS are away and their presence is felt. The lack of presence is felt. Why is it so hard to just show some more leniency towards your audiences, Because guys, I'm telling you this straight up. The majority of the channels here are making an absurd amount of money on Patreon per month, and I would hope that all of them have bought the BTS content that they're reacting to, the paid BTS content. So like Soup, Bon Voyage, and the documentaries, if they did it on YouTube, I don't know. And at the same time, I'm not saying they should. I'm not telling you guys to hate them. I'm not telling you guys to dislike them. I'm just sharing with you guys my personal issues with the YouTube Army community. Not you guys, but I'm talking about the content creators. All right? What you do with your money at the end of the day is your choice. But I just want to say to the people that say, I don't care, it's just $2. Not everyone has that financial situation or those circumstances to be able to say that or do that. Let's just be honest. You're not the standard. Neither are the opposite people. There is no standard. Everyone is different. Everyone has a circumstance. That's why I feel like as content creator, being in a good position because of Army in general, I wouldn't say it's difficult to give back. Because, guys, I will be completely honest with this. These people are nice, okay? The people that I've interacted with, I haven't interacted with all of them. So I interacted with like DT Parker. I know he was in some controversy a while back. I don't know much about CCW or Mrs. Sammy Cam, but or like Jared and Jordan. But the other ones I have seen, and I think they're great people. I have no knock against them, really. I don't wish them bad. I don't wish for them to go through anything bad in their life. But I want to pinpoint one thing. All of them have one thing in common. They've put Run BTS in Patreon. Ask yourself why. Why is Run the most common thing on Patreon? Because it's the piece of content most ARMY want to see. Okay? That's just the reality of it. And everyone knows that. I know that. When I started watching Run, everyone was commenting, next episode, please. Next episode, please. I would do like 2 episodes sometimes because people were like, next episode, next. Yes, let's do it. Run is one of the most incredible pieces of content ever produced. And I think there's nothing worse as a viewer, because I am also someone that follows reaction channels, not specifically BTS reactions, but for example, sport reactions. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than finding someone, falling in love with them, not like love, but like really enjoying their content, and they have like a special place in your heart where you watch them during dinner, you watch them before bed, you watch them when you wake up, whatever it is, and all of a sudden, all of that is taken away because of Patreon. What I'm trying to say is you can have your Patreon and you can find creative ways to push it, because Patreon as a platform is not bad. But the way it's being managed by 99% of YouTube channels, ARMY, like BTS channels, I disagree with, okay? You can take a look at Tribe Louis, for example. You know, he's an ARMY, free Patreon. You can take a look at Gino. You know, he reacts to pretty much everything BTS, free Patreon. You can take a look at Jackpot ARMY. Only puts blocked stuff on his Patreon. He finds a way to put copyrighted stuff on YouTube as well, which is crazy, like blocked stuff. You can take a look at Roscoe. Once again, does YouTube, Patreon free. It's not like it's hard to do it, guys. And most of these people that I said don't precede these guys. These guys are big names in the ARMY community. And I know some of you are going to be upset, and I know you guys like them. You may like them and you may like me. You may not like me. You may not like them. The point is, I don't want you to hate these people, but I want to explain why I made this call out, because I just think it's insincere, and I just wanted to like point that out. Okay? You don't have to agree with what I'm doing. You can criticize me for it. That's completely fine. And I don't think these are bad people, and I would not judge them based upon this only. At all. But I say it's not too late to just be like, hey, yeah. Because if they put the free stuff that they have on Patreon, if they make it free even on Patreon, you will still get the same amount of love and supporters on Patreon. And that's just genuinely what I wanted to talk about. You know, I know that this is gonna go 2 ways for me. People are gonna call me a cloud chaser, or they're gonna call me jealous, or on the other side, you might agree, you might have mixed feelings. I don't know exactly which camp everyone's gonna be in, obviously, but I have no toxic intentions with this. I have no bad intentions. I wish Jose gets his channel back into the monetization program. I wish for these people to be happy, to be good. But at the same time, I just can't sit silently while this ridiculousness is happening. Like, guys, you don't understand. Like, making a reaction channel doesn't make you a celebrity, okay? Like, we're just normal people, just like you, sitting at home, watching BTS. The only difference between you and me is I make a video of it, and I voice my thoughts out loud, and I put it on YouTube. That doesn't make me any better than you. And I don't want you guys to put me on a pedestal or show me like, yes, Shiki, this is, it's not really about that. It's just a sad situation all around. When the main initiative for all of this is to drive the Patreon income. That's all I want to say. I hope, I'm probably not gonna address this anymore. I'm doing my part here. One time, boom. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it's okay. I appreciate your comments, whether they're criticism or support. It doesn't really matter. I will take them because this is my choice to make this. But yeah, like I said, I didn't go in depth into every single one. Obviously, I could, but some of them are very worse at this than others. So, for example, the twins, they go really hard. Jose, unfortunately, Colombian, like, they all do it to an extent. The most thing that I wanted to say is, it's not that hard to make reaction videos, okay? I'm not going to talk about their breakdowns. Like, I'm not going to knock on that. I'm not going to knock on the creativity, because I know that Jared and Jordan, they have like their own like long lyrical breakdowns. I know Maurice Vlogs is a lot more than just BTS on their Patreon. Mexicanese family got like skits. This is not me saying these are bad channels. I am saying the decision to put free content, especially like things like Run and Suchta and like Bangtan Bombs and V Lives and stuff like that on Patreon, I will criticize. That's what I'm saying. Yep. All I want to say, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, stay safe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.